played this game. I've done my time. I've lived without love as long, and I'm doing fine.
Hi everybody, this is the story behind the song Take My Heart from my album I Guess I'm Not Alone. I probably shouldn't say this as often as I have the last 11 songs, but I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. I love everything about it. I've said that before, but I can't help it. The song Take My Heart started a long time ago. I wrote it when I was younger, the lyrics, and the lyrics are basically about someone being pursued in a relationship and they don't want to take that chance necessarily, but they're willing. It's like, it's okay, fine. Take my heart, take my dreams, take my soul, take it all. I mean, what does it matter to you? So go ahead, let's see what happens. I figure it's going to end badly, but who knows? So take it, take my heart. So that's my cynicism and my sarcasm that I've never let go of, really, but I had it quite strongly at the time. And I wrote that song, the lyrics, and musically I thought it should be really simple, like an acoustic guitar and a couple drums, and I thought it's going to sound like you're hearing a love song, and then there's going to be all this sarcasm in it, and you're going to go, oh, that's one way to look at things. And mostly because a lot of the songs I was writing at the time were pretty hard rockin' songs, so I thought, well, this will even out. I never recorded any of those songs, but in my head, they were all working in a certain way. And so that's how the lyrics and the original music idea came about. And I never recorded it, I never did anything with it. But when I was working on my album, Everybody Hates You, I was working on the music, and I was writing this rock song, and it had these cool stops and starts, and with the drums and this cool guitar coming in, and I even got it, I could feel where the lyrics, the verses would be, and then going into the chorus, and I added this guitar where I thought the guitar solo should be, and it was like this grungy guitar, and actually someone recently said that it sounded like a Nine Inch Nails guitar, so that makes me even more thrilled. But so I had it all going, I could tell exactly where everything would go, but I couldn't write a lyric to this music I was working on. And so I went to my little bag of tricks, my blue binders of old lyrics, and normally when I do that, then I play the instrumental of the song that I'm working on, and then kind of sing along as I go through lyrics, wondering if they'll work or if it's something I want to sing, and that it works. And Take My Heart, I got to that, and it worked perfectly. I didn't have to change a line or a word or anything. It fit exactly into that music, right into the idea of where the guitar solo was, the break in it, and then with all those stops and starts, it was so cool. It was like kismet that it would work, and I always loved those lyrics. I just never recorded it and kind of put it out of my head, didn't think about it, and then it all worked out so wonderfully. And then when I started adding my background vocals and doing all this, it all came together so beautifully. However, when I was working on Everybody Hates You, as you know by now, that since we talked about all of these songs, that album started morphing into two different things, and I was working on still rock songs, but they had more of a synthesizer sound and electronics going on, and I was just writing so many songs that it morphed into two, and I realized that Take My Heart was a little too much of a rock song to fit with these other songs. And by then I had already known I was going to do two albums, and that was going to become I Guess I'm Not Alone, and because of the content about being in a relationship, and that I knew that would work well on I Guess I'm Not Alone. So it did. I was able to save it and work on it a little more, do a little remix of it to make it even better than what I had already loved about it. And then it also, as I sang it the first time when I was recording for Everybody Hates You, it started to make me think of my husband, of Alfred, because of the cynicism of going into a relationship. And when I moved here, the last thing I wanted was a boyfriend. I had moved to LA just to be on my own, and I had never, even back then when I wrote the songs, I never really thought about a relationship. I fell into a lot of them, but it was never a big thing. Like my friends, hanging out with my friends and that kind of thing was more important to me. And then when I moved here, it was just more important to me to be here and to live my life. And then I met Alfred 2 months after I got here. So I did come into that with that cynicism that song said, like, I'll take a chance, I'll do it. But he kind of turned the tables on me, and he was the one that was more, maybe not cynical, but careful and cautious. And I was the one wondering why he wasn't paying enough attention to me. Like, why all those guys that song is written about, he wasn't one of them. He wasn't doing that to me. So I'm like, now I gotta get him, and he's gotta know how wonderful I am. So it kind of, in my mind, as I was singing it and doing it all these years later, that it started making me think of us. And kind of like it's a prologue to what we became. Like, this was us going into something, and then if you just stick with it, and it, like the song says, like, take my soul, take everything. And it's not said explicitly, but the idea is we'll see what happens. And we did see what happens, and it turned out really great. But now that song reminds me of us, like prior to us becoming a couple and living together and doing everything. We were both very cautious, more so him than me. So now it's kind of like I put those thoughts into his head singing the song. But I love singing the song. I love hearing it. The music is so cool to me, and it's, like I said, one of my favorite songs I ever did, and I'm so glad I finally got to release it, because it was just sitting there from the other album, and it took me a long time to get this album together, but this was always going to be on there. And placing it on the album was a little more difficult because there's so many different sounds on the album, on I Guess I'm Not Alone, and so many different subject matters. I wasn't sure where to place it. And then when I finally got everything mixed and was doing everything, was doing the track listing, and I got it really good, I realized we have Accelerate, which is kind of a slow song, and then Aren't You Proud is fast song, but the subject matter is fairly serious. I mean, it's about someone who passed away, and it's about my life with them. And then Grown Up is a pretty heavy song, and I'm like, if we put Take My Heart, which is fast and a rock song, and basically looking forward is the idea behind it, like we're starting something and let's see where it goes. Thought that was good towards the end, and then we ended with a pop dance song. And so I really love where it plays, and it kind of, as you're getting through the album and getting closer, then all of a sudden it kind of pops out at you. I wanted to make a statement wherever I put it. That's why I was having a problem placing it, was I wanted it to make a statement but not take away too much. So the second to last song was a really good, in my opinion, place to put it. The song actually makes me really happy too, because for some reason it reminds me of a Pat Benatar song, like an album track where it's kind of this simple pop song that comes in and out and brings life to something and then just kind of goes away but sticks with you. And specifically, it kind of reminds me of Prisoner of Love from the Crimes of Passion album. And I'm not sure why. I don't think it would remind anybody else of it, but for some reason that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Prisoner of Love, and because something I wrote reminds me of something Pat Benatar sang, it makes me very, very, very happy. So even if nobody else hears that, hopefully people hear the song and like the song, because I love it. And that is the story behind the song Take My Heart. Thank you.